Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on our app, so we're going to be adding the SharePoint grants table into our app and adding a vertical gallery and a display form. So to start off, I'm going to show you where the grants table is. So on my screen here, I'm just on office.com on your browser. If you click up here, you need to make sure that you're signed in to your Cloud EA account. And if you are, then that's fine. And we're going to go over to the waffle icon over here and then click on SharePoint, which is right here. And then you'd find your team. So whatever team you are, you just click on it. So this is my team, so I'm going to go into this one. And your table should be called either General Grant or Grants Table, something like that. And if you click there, you can see that this is the table that you'll have. It has all the fields that is to do with grants, and there's some dummy data in there as well. So that's your table. So what we're going to do is add a feature in the app where we can actually view this table in the app and click on each record, and we can view each one in the app. So we're going to go onto Teams and open up our blank app. So you should have already seen how to create a blank app. So you'll start with this app. If you've already added features, that's fine. We're just going to carry on building on top of it. So firstly, we're going to make a gallery. So a gallery is where you can view each record. So if I go back to the table, each one of these rows is an item. And we're going to be able to make a gallery where you can view each item in a visual way. So we're going to go to insert at the top and we want to choose this one. So it's vertical gallery. There is a lot of different galleries you can use under layout. So if you want to have a try and use one of these, feel free to do so. But I'm just going to be using a vertical gallery today. But they all do the same thing, and this will work for all of these layouts. So when I click on vertical gallery, it'll add it in. Obviously you can move this around. If you click on here, you can change the different colors, size of text, alignments. If you want to change the actual text, you can do that here. I'll show you how to do that. And then you've got all the colors here, so background colors, layouts. You can change the theme of the app by going up here. So there's loads of customization that I'd like you to have a play around with. I'm not going to show you today, but this is what you can do to make the app a bit more lively. So now that we've got our gallery, you can see it doesn't actually connect to the table. So that's what we need to do. So when I click on this gallery, you can see it'll ask me to select a data source, and that's going to be our table. So we need to go to connectors here. If you can't see SharePoint here, I can see it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So you go to connectors, click the drop down, and we're going to find SharePoint, as that's where our table is stored. Click on SharePoint. And then we need to add a new connection. If it's already there, you can click it straight away and start creating it. Mine's there, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to add a new connection, and that will take me to my Chrome browser. And now it's asking me for a new connection, and it's asking me what do you want to use. And obviously our table's in SharePoint, so we're going to click on this one. And then we'll just click on create. And it might ask you to sign in again, so I'm just going to make sure I'm on my Cloud EA account. Sign in, and that's your connection created. You'll be able to see it there. So we'll go back to our app, and it says once you're done, select done to return to your app, and we'll click done, and we're just going to click off and click back on, and we want to go back to connectors, find SharePoint again, and our connection should now pop up here. So if we click on our connection, it'll then ask us what URL do you want to use. So this is where you'd pick your team. So this is my team, but you'd find your team here. It should be here. And then you click on your team, and then it'll ask what table do you want to use, and you just find the one that's labeled either General Grants or Grants. So I'm going to click on this one, as this is the one that I'm using, and click on connect. And what that'll do is that'll connect the gallery to our table, so we can see that we've got all this dummy data in here and it's showing. So it's connected successfully. And if we click off that and click on play, we can preview how our app will look. And we can see that we've got all the different fields. Obviously it doesn't do anything, but you can select each one. Click X here, click OK there. So what we want to do, I'm going to clean this up a bit. So we don't have any images in the table, so I'm going to get rid of that. So here under layout, you've got loads of different layouts, so you can choose one of these. I'm just going to choose title subtitle at the moment. And here you can see it gives us different items of what it wants to show. It's just like a little preview. So if I click on one of these fields, you can see it's showing the title, which is the name of the organization. And then underneath, so I have to click here and it's asking for the name. So if I actually don't want the name to be there, I can change it to be something else. So up here is our formula bar where we'll edit and change all the details. So if I don't want this item.name, I'm actually going to get rid of the name. I'll keep the dot there. So I'll type the dot and I can actually add another field that I want. So for example, if I want their position, which is a field in the SharePoint table, so position is there, so click on that and that'll show the position instead of the name. And if I go back to the table, you can see that position is one of the fields, so that's how I'm changing it. So I'm going to change that back to name, but that's just a feature you can use. And I'm also going to make this the text a bit bigger, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to change the text to about 20. Obviously it's a bit off, so I need to select this whole box. I'm going to drag it down a bit. So that's actually a text, so I need to make sure I select the whole thing, drag it down so it looks a bit better. Then I'll move this a bit down. I'm going to make that a bit bigger as well, so I'll change it to 15. And then I'll get that field, just push it up. So it's all just a bit of dragging and dropping. And you can see it's added the scroll bar as well. And if I play that, you can see that's already looking a lot better. We've got a nice scroll bar here and the item's clear. You can see the company and the name. And I'm actually going to move this into the corner just so it's out of the way for now. And I'll make it a bit bigger. And then if I want to change the color, I can change the background color to maybe, I'll start with the gray for now. And if you want to change maybe the outline color, so I'm going to make sure I select the whole box, so there. And then we can change the border. So I'm going to make it a bit thicker, so I'll go about 5, let's try that. And we'll change the color to be kind of dark. And that changes the border. Okay, so next what I want to do is that I want to connect this to an actual display. So you don't just want to see these two details when you're viewing a record, you want to see everything. So I'm going to insert a form. So if I go to insert again, I want to search form. And we're just using a display form at the moment. We're going to create there's another video where you can edit your form, but we're just going to do display for now. So I've got my display form here. Obviously there's nothing there, but I want to just move it across here. So it's going to be next to it. I'll just add a little gap actually, and I'll move this down a bit. So now we need to connect to the data. So if I click connect to data, it'll ask me what table. If the table's not there, you have to do the same thing that you did before, where you add data, you want to choose your SharePoint connector. So if you want to go back to the start of the video and re-add your connector, well, it should be there, and you can click General Grant to connect to your table. If that doesn't work, sometimes it doesn't link properly here, you can go over to your Details tab. So there'll be a tab here, and it's asking you for your data source, so that's your table. Click the drop down and your General Grant table should be there. If we click that, just give it a second, and it'll load up a form with all the fields that we have on it. You can see that's how it looks. So it's brought through all the fields. If we go on fields here, we can see these are all the fields. Don't know if there's more, but there's quite a lot there. And we click on play, and you can see that it's not actually connected yet. But if you look on the design mode, you can see that we've got all the fields here. It's formatted it all for us. We haven't had to code anything, which is really cool. So now we need to see when we click one of these. So for example, if we click on the giving charity, we want the items to show up in here. So I'm selected on the form. Up here, we're choosing what data source we want, but we actually want to choose what item we want. So for example, what row. So we want the giving charity. So if I put the drop down here, I can actually choose an item. So here, item, and obviously it's not selected anything, as when I click play, it didn't show anything. So if I click here, I want to choose whatever I've selected in this gallery. And on the left, you can see there's something called a tree view here, which shows all the names of everything. And if I click on this gallery, make sure I select the whole thing, it's called gallery 1. So I want to get whatever I've selected in gallery 1. So I'll go back to the form, there's still an item, and we want to choose gallery 1 dot selected. So it's simply whatever I've selected on here, and you can see it's filled it out. So if I click off that and I go back to my play, you can see whichever one I select, it updates automatically. So I'm choosing the giving charity, and it shows the giving charity. I'm choosing delicate queries, and it shows all the information there. And that is your display form. So that's a simple page, a simple screen that we've got on the app. It's probably the main part of the app, where it shows all the grants. So the client, council, can go onto this app, they can view all the information, and then they can view it all, and then we'll add additional functions to edit, maybe delete a record. There's loads of things we can do, and have a play around with the colors, maybe try to change these fields, make it a bit bigger, bolder, maybe add a background, some images. So there's loads of stuff you can have a play around with here to make the app really cool and personalized to you. In the next video, we're going to be creating an edit button where it'll take you to another screen, and on that other screen you can edit the information in here. So say the client has said they want to change some stuff, maybe they need to change their email. So we can click edit, change their email, and then we'll click a tick button, and that'll take us back to this page, and the information would have been updated. So that'll be in the next video. Check out, and I'll see you soon.